Well, we've got another caller on the line. So we're going to hear from Andy. And Andy's asking, am I bringing dissatisfaction? Am I bringing up dissatisfaction or trying to get out of the relationship because I don't want to be bridled? So, Andy, tell us more.
Yeah. So, circumstance, like the dissatisfaction, like bringing up the dissatisfaction, it's actually being met with like a very responsible manner, like, and then finding that this is a solvable matter.
Mm-hmm.
But then I keep bringing up more dissatisfaction. Like, I just want to get out of this because I don't want to be actually in this relationship because that now means commitment to long-term or fears of that sort of thing. Like, and I've just kind of had to go on like, there's like a timeline. It's like 3 to 4 months that this will happen where it's like, nope, don't want to do this anymore, next. And it's usually around the context of, I'm starting to tell more truths, bringing up this dissatisfaction, and as I'm taking more responsibility for things, I'm actually coming across in a very truthful way, and it's not like now met with like, okay, we're just going to break up. More like, oh man, now we can work on this. And I'm still like, nope, I want to run. So, and that, to me, like, so that's that bridle thing, like say wild horse. I just want to run wild and baiting and not in a committed thing.
Yeah.
I guess I'm wondering if there's a misanalysis about who's the horse here. And
say more.
Well, it's similar to Drew's question. It's like, Andy, it doesn't actually sound like anyone is trying to bridle you. It sounds like you're more the horse trainer in this scenario, who's trying to, as Drew was working with, like, negotiate the standards for your satisfaction in a relationship. And no one's paying you to do this job. So it gets annoying, it gets difficult. And like, my guess is just that and this is based on my own experience, my guess is that it's not just like, oh my God, she's trying to control me, but it really is like, okay, this is the reality of relationships. If I'm really going to be in a relationship, it's this level of fight basically every moment, every day for the rest of the time we have together, whether that's 3 days or 30 years. Like, there is a reality that sets in when you're in that real relationship of engagement that's like, this is my life. This is the work.
Reactions, Andy?
So I mean, the commitment. So it's like, am I committed to this level of fight?
Yeah.
Or this level of relationship? Yeah. And then that's kind of like, so it's the bringing up of it. So then it's like, do I stay in it if it's, like, yeah, that's where, like, I get, because like I said, it's every 3 months I choose no, even if it, could be satisfying to me. So it's like, what is how am I bringing that into the next relationship? So I choose no on this one because it's not to the level of my satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 months from now, in the next relationship, I'm for some other different level of reasons.
Right.
I'm saying no again.
Yeah. I have a couple different thoughts. But, and I'm just going to say all of them, and you can sort of respond. But one is this sort of like, well, let's start here. What do you feel like you're running away from? You said you get the feeling that you're running away.
Mm-hmm. It's the running away from running towards. So it's like, it's like I'm only had like one leg in this whole thing to begin with.
Mm.
So now it's the choice to actually put both feet towards the direction of the relationship. So it's, putting both feet in. So that's kind of the running away part. And then it's running away from the possibilities of what the relationship could be. when fully committed to it. Running away from, just like now, running away from now I have to be in a relationship. So it's like this, I want to be in a relationship with a person, but do I actually? So.
Right. So now it's some sort of obligation. It's something now that like I'm committed. She expects from me. I have to do this. That kind of feeling that you want to get away from?
Yeah, totally. Very, very clearly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fairly clear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the realm of like self-fulfilling prophecies, which we don't need to educate you on, Andy, but for others, the truth is that if you believe about relationships that it means being bridled, it means limiting your freedom, it means some kind of painful situation in which someone is going to expect things of you, you're going to find ways to create situations that get you out of them. You'll build the case for what's wrong with her, what's wrong with the relationship, and you will find a way.
Yeah, and this is where our approach is that each individual in a relationship be doing their own personal development work. And I know that you know this, Andy, but that's where I would say this is for you to really look at and work with. What is this sense of like, somebody else's expectations are restraining and hold me back, and I can't, I feel like we're talking about victimhood today. I feel like a victim to someone else's expectations, and I need to be free of it. That would be the place for you to really commit to dig in there in your individual coaching and group work and all your personal development there. And I wouldn't worry so much about, your pattern in the meantime. It's like if you really tackle what's going on with you, the pattern will resolve itself. You can choose to stay in it. You can choose to, to keep leaving it. But if you resolve with what's going on with yourself, eventually your pattern, will change and will resolve as well.
It was almost like looking at the reaction to the bridled scenario, looking at because it shows up in relationship with just groups of people, where like I commit to being with the group, but I'm not really with the group. I'm just kind of standing around and then running away. But
it's probably in your business too, Andy. It's probably everywhere in every area of life if you start tracking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one last sort of on another note, one last thing I want to get in there is that I am all for you having high standards.
Totally.
And you sort of realizing something's not up to your satisfaction and then switching. It's you may have a pattern of sort of getting into a relationship quickly and then leaving it quickly, but I'm not sure how much you've done the exercise of going on lots and lots of dates without committing or becoming exclusive or going on more than a few dates with the same person. So in the realm of you being just doing what you want and having lots of experience, like there's nothing wrong with that. I love that you want to work on the deeper issue, but I think it's both at the same time.
Agreed.
Yeah, great. I mean, damn it, and totally. Cool.
Well, and just to put a kind of final note on it, I think the question is how you were asking questions about how much am I committed to this relationship, how much am I committed to this person. The question is really how much am I committed to my own satisfaction? How much am I really willing to experiment with anything and everything that would move me in the direction of my vision, and how can this person be a partner in that, in me discovering more of who I am and what I want. So that's what we want for you.
Yeah, and that's the distinction. It's to me, and that's where, cause I also feel like I'm getting like in the conversation with the person. There's also then it becomes more about us, and then rather than me just sticking to my satisfaction, it becomes to our satisfaction, which is in turn to me feels kind of like this mind game of like, no, this is actually you trying to change me to meet what you want. So that's be the good reminder to bring it back to, okay, no, this is about the satisfaction, and then that's an expectation for you, is for you to bring it to yourself and have that satisfaction for yourself.
Right.
And we're working together in that. Yeah. Oof.
That's a helpful distinction.
Yeah.
That it's hard to take the pulse of the us in the
Yeah.
relationship. That really what you have to work with is two individuals, each being willing to monitor and fight for their own satisfaction. I think you've educated me, Andy, bringing that back to the fore. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Andy.